Here to talk about the newest addition to our console lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro, and how it advances gaming technology. But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what we put in the original PlayStation 5 and how it delivers an exceptional gaming experience.
How's it going, my boys and sweaty boys? So yesterday I looked on the Sony's official YouTube and I saw that they had released the trailer for the PS5 Pro. Now, I don't understand why you would ever want to upgrade from the PS5 to the PS5 Pro, for like the fucking changes are literally barely anything. And what you guys are going to later see that the pricing for the PS5 Pro is fucking abysmal.
When PS5 debuted in 2020, it brought a lot to the table. 8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5.
Now, they aren't exactly wrong on this because the PS5, when it first came out, was a big leap from the PS4 Pro. The graphics and the FPS was a lot better, so I can't really blame them for saying this.
And enable high-speed complex gameplay, with character counts reaching into the hundreds, and frame rates that can be as high as 120 frames a second.
Well, that's just a fucking lie, isn't it? I don't even know one single fucking game that lets you play at 120 FPS on a PS5, or even going to be a PS5 Pro. Most games are going to be running at 60 max, which I have no fucking clue how the fuck consoles are still running at only 30 to 60 FPS. It's fucking insane.
PS5 has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything from intricate details to fantastic worlds with vast panoramas to explore. Ray tracing allows for dramatic visual improvements, including reflections off of water or glass.
Well, yes, ray tracing is very good. I don't know why you would spend the extra money on something that you're probably barely even going to be able to notice. And not only that, but ray tracing is only going to work on certain games. So you're just going to have a feature that if you don't play only AAA title games, you're going to be fucked.
And the realism that comes from real-time global illumination. A custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast transitions between game worlds and data streaming rates so high that traversal speeds are essentially unlimited.
I could see this being maybe useful if you play AAA games and PlayStation games only, but I am just imagining that if you try to play something like Dead by Daylight, Warframe, Rust, or anything that's not a AAA game and made by Sony, it's just not going to be running as that much of a difference from the PS5 and the PS5 Pro.
You okay? I'm working on it!
Tempest 3D audio tech brings an unparalleled sense of immersion to the sound of the games.
Oh, here we go with the 3D sound. Like, oh my god, bro. Why are they even showing this shit? Who actually fucking cares? Especially they're playing single player story mode where the 3D sound is not gonna fucking matter. I don't know why they're showing this. Like, this is a justifiable fucking feature for the price of the fucking PS5 Pro.
With audio so real, you may not even need to see the enemies to know exactly where they are. Finally, the DualSense controller has haptics that let you feel through your hands what your character is experiencing inside of the game. It's wonderful to see such variety and richness of game experiences. Creators have made amazing use of the hardware capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players. Fidelity modes emphasize the visuals, typically through...
Oh my god, I know damn well they're not about to show The Last of Us 2 like that game's any fucking good. Why are we still talking about this game? This game's been out for fucking forever and everyone fucking hated it. Why are we still showing this game in PlayStation fucking new reveals? This game is fucking trash.
Higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier and the controls less responsive. Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity. typically choosing to run 60 frames per second.
Back to what I was saying, I don't know why the hell consoles are still running at 30 to 60 FPS, and we're only now starting to bump it up to 120. And even then, it's on certain games. If you have a PC, you can run any game you want at 120 FPS. And for the pricing of this console, you could probably even buy yourself a pretty decent setup for the same price, and it will run the games way better. I don't know why the fuck people are still even buying consoles at this point.
Be achieved. When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time. Removing that decision, or at least narrowing that divide, is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call the Big 3.
Yeah, sorry to break this to you, Mark, but the big 3 is not gonna save Sony from this fucking horrible dumpster fire of a console and the pricing.
First, we made the GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses. The result is rendering that's up to 45% faster. Second, we made major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5.
I'm not gonna lie, double the speeds is crazy. As he shows us side by side and it looks exactly the same. I don't understand why he's talking about double the speeds. Literally looks like it's running the same.
And finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR for short. PSSR analyzes the game images pixel by pixel and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective resolution.
Oh, it boosts the resolution, does it? Oh. Well, why don't we just take a little look at this boosted resolution he talks about?
Of the games. Game creators are adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles, and with the Big 3 involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a super smooth 60 frames per second. Let's compare this to the fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore much choppier.
Don't stop! We gotta lose.
This goal of delivering almost fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5.
I'm sorry, but are we watching the same clips here? Because from the looks of it, it looks exactly the same. What are you talking about? Double the performance? Literally looks the same. But
Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus Performance mode on PS5, both of which target 60 frames per second. What we see here is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5.
oh yes, how exciting! I can't wait to see the sides of buildings and see a billboard with the specific text. Spend $700 on that. Let's go, baby!
For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet & Clank. Distant details are much clearer. And here,
What the fuck? Much clearer, as it looks exactly the fucking same. I can't wait to see fucking random robot number 7 in the stands. Like, what are you even supposed to be looking at here?
we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene, including the trees and procedural cars. So overall, some remarkable improvement to the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the Big 3 showing their value. As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects, as well as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Open up, guys. Jor's orders.
Good enough for me.
Ray tracing is finding broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference, allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second. That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy, allowing not only for better reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces, but also for further realism in the casting of shadows. I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family. Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
No, Mark, I don't think that'll be necessary. So y'all are probably wondering how much, well, I guess I already kind of spoiled it, but this console, it's not $600, like the PS4 to the PS4 Pro, which that was an actual giant leap, I felt like. But no, it's $700 fucking dollars. I don't know who in their right mind is spending $700 on this fucking slight graphical upgrade, if you can even call it that.
You'll never break a legend, 'cause they don't know we are love. We're legendary.
And that is going to bring our video to a close. Honestly, I don't know why y'all would ever spend $700 on a fucking PS5 Pro when you can buy a gaming laptop or a gaming desktop, whatever you would prefer, and you could get even more performance out of it. There's really no point in buying a PS5 Pro. So that's going to be it for the video. If you guys liked, hit that like button, please. Please. And that's all. So, yeah, have a good one.